has almost nothing to do with the video. A couple of weeks back, I tweeted out a little picture that the official Pokemon company tweeted out for Pokemon Legends Arceus of Shinx wrapped up in bandages, and I said that it was cute that he was wrapped up in toilet paper. Listen here, I can be dumb, but I learn from my mistakes. Please believe me. Alright. What is going on, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So I know it's been a little bit of a minute. I'm sorry I get quiet like that, but I was taking a little bit of needed me time, okay? I don't do that intentionally, but sometimes I just get lazy, okay? Please don't hate me too much. But don't worry, your boy's always gonna find his way right back to y'all. We've still got plenty of things to discuss before these games release, I'm sure, and I'm gonna be right here with y'all the entire time, so do not worry, I'll always be coming back. So why don't we start hopping into things. A couple of weeks ago, I asked you guys for your positive and negative opinions when it comes to Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. A week later, I asked you to do the exact same thing for Pokemon Legends Arceus. Once I gave that little announcement, y'all started coming in droves. Thank you guys so much for making this video possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the intro stuff here because we've got plenty of responses to get through. Let's see what your guys' positive and negative opinions were when it comes to Pokemon Legends Arceus. Let's kick things off with Squizzard Studios, who says, positive, it's great to see Game Freak trying something new with the main series. Also, the gameplay so far looks like a ton of fun. Negative, if the game flops, it might discourage them from ever trying something like this again. Also, even though they don't bother me too much, I agree with most people that the graphics aren't the best. Granted, Pokemon has never really been a stunner in the graphics department, so I never really expected it to be the best graphically. First off, I appreciate the kind words, Squizzard. I appreciate you for coming through. Thank you. Let's start with your positive. I absolutely agree. It's always so refreshing to finally see some new concepts in the Pokemon series. Frankly, a game like this is something that we thought we would have long before now, considering how big the Pokemon franchise has gotten over the years. But hey, better late than never. I'm sure that as Pokemon addicts, we can all agree that we'll take what we can get at this point. Now, as far as your negative goes, that's actually a very valid fear to have. Now, financially, we know that the game is going to do just fine. This one was hyped up even more than the remakes. However, though, on the off chance that it didn't do well, they would probably see that as, oh, okay, they don't like it when we do stuff like this, let's just stick to the mainline series. We already know through and through how big gaming companies work, like the Pokemon Company. They don't listen to feedback, they listen to money. They know that we enjoy the mainline series and want them to keep making it, which is why we keep buying it and they keep making it, but not exactly the way everybody wants, you know? And trust me, I fully understand the fact that you are not going to be able to satisfy everybody with every single game. That's just not realistic. But there are some things that can easily be fixed within the Pokemon series if it were just given enough time to cook. But no, the money comes first. So, if it sells well, great, we'll make another one. Maybe it'll be better, maybe it'll be worse, I don't know. But you gave us the money to do it, so we'll do that. I have no doubt in my mind that this game is going to sell well and that the future of that series is going to be just fine. As far as the other half of your negatives, I'll say it like this. Yeah, it's not exactly the easiest game on the eyes, however, I will look at this much longer than I ever will Sword and Shield, I promise you that. Moving along here, we have Riot Kitty, who says, positive, it's wonderful we get to go back to an older version of a region we already know. The intriguing stuff that can be done that is already on display, and I can't wait to see more. Will we see more ancestors of recognizable characters? What calamity messed up Hisui region so bad that the modern day Sinnoh looks like how it does? Where are the legendaries? I can't wait to find out. Negative, lack of landmarks and noticeable side activities. I hope there's a bunch more to explore and do than what we saw from the trailers, other than just getting Pokemon. Now, as far as your positives go, absolutely. I wouldn't say that Sinnoh is absolutely a wreck or anything, I think it looks fine the way it is. However, it is very interesting to go back to its past and see how it ended up how it did. And also, I'm sure that we can all agree that Sinnoh is easily one of the most mysterious regions to date, so it's very satisfying that we actually get a game that kind of touches up on its history a little bit. When we go throughout this game, I'm really hoping that we meet the ancestors of all of the gym leaders and things like that too. And maybe we'll find out what the hell happened to make the legendaries do what they do. I'm looking forward to it. Now, as far as your negatives go, yeah, I can't really blame you. For whatever reason, they still seem very reserved on what they're showing us. I think I might have mentioned that too in my initial thoughts and discussions video, where I saw that there weren't a lot of other towns or necessarily like landmarks and things like that were around. It was just a lot of trees and land. And I've been saying for a very long time that we need side quests in the Pokemon series. Now, it's totally fine for you to give us side quests that involve us catching Pokemon, but that's pretty much always been the one side quest that we've had in the series, is just filling up the Pokédex. That's not... Guys, please, we need more than that. It's literally as simple as, hey, this person needs materials to craft this thing. Can you go get those things? Hey, that person is in danger. Why don't we go save them? Maybe we get rewarded for our efforts. It's literally that simple, guys. What? Can we not have that? I really hope that's the case. I mean, again, they were very reserved in what they showed us, so that could very much be the case. But I'm not gonna hold out hope for it, I'll be honest with you, because, man, they just cannot do it with side quests. Yes, guys, we do love capturing and battling Pokemon, but it's okay to implement new mechanics every now and again. Just saying. Just saying. Next, we're going to reply to Jenny Dorrance, who says, positive, new game style, which is something Pokemon has been needing for a while. It'll be nice, especially for someone like me, who is more of a collector and the gyms are more of an afterthought, to have a new way of playing the games. Negative, I dislike how Pokemon appear in packs with several first stage Pokemon alongside their fully evolved form. While maybe they are going for a parent-child-like dynamic, what is there to encourage me to catch the first stage Pokemon and raise it up if I have a fully evolved version available right in front of me? Starting with your positive, I absolutely agree. Although I will be honest, I'm more of an opposite kind of guy. I prefer battling as opposed to collecting, so that's what I'm gonna focus on. But it is very nice that they do have something new for little old me with the whole agile style and the strong style. I rock with it all the way. Very fresh. I'm somebody that's also coming from the Shin Megami Tensei and Persona series, so very refreshing battle style. Love to see it. Now, as far as your negative goes, I will say I do appreciate the fact that they tried to make the Pokemon in this game feel a lot more alive. They probably kept it like that because, if we're being realistic, Pokemon are supposed to reflect animals, and when it comes to animals, a lot of them usually do spend a lot of time around their mothers, fathers, or whatever. They have some kind of parental nearby a lot of the time. Or, you know, at the very least, in the wild, they definitely do. I guess this is their way of showcasing that Pokemon truly are just like regular animals, and they do have their parentals that they stick by, even if they are stronger than regular animals. Now, as far as catching the final stage Pokemon that just so happens to be nearby, I feel like there's some kind of restriction to that. There definitely has to be. Think about Pokemon Sword and Shield for a second. Yeah, there were some really big, strong Pokemon in the overworld that we could definitely run up on. However, we were not able to catch them because we simply were not strong enough trainers yet at the very beginning of the game. So I'm assuming that, yeah, while those stronger Pokemon may be nearby, there's probably a good chance that if you're still at the beginning of the game, you can only be strong enough to catch the little version of that Pokemon and raise it up yourself. And by the time you run into that bigger Pokemon in the overworld again by the end of the game, you'll most likely already have the fully evolved form of that Pokemon. How they're going to enforce the rule of no capturing level 60 and above Pokemon right from the get-go when they have no gyms or trainers? I have no idea, but I know for a fact that they're not going to let us get that overpowered that fast. No Pokemon game has ever worked that way, and they're definitely not going to be starting with Pokemon Legends Arceus. That would be overpowered, and it wouldn't be fun after that. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're going about it in an entirely different way. We won't know until we know, but that's my take on it. Next up, we're going to reply to Eddie Allen, who says, positive, the game looks absolutely beautiful. The new forms and evolutions of Pokemon look great, and I'm excited to see if we get any more. Fingers crossed for new starter evolution forms. Also, a minor but very important change, IMO, is the battle animations. Seeing your Lucario run up to the enemy and hitting them with a close combat is awesome, instead of them just standing in place and punching from a distance. Negative, I'm worried that if there are no other trainers in the game, that the world might seem empty or lacking maybe. Also, I hope that we have multiple options for riding Pokemon rather than just the ones we've seen in the trailer. As far as your positives go, absolutely. I think it's very refreshing to see attack animations in this form. Even if it's not the most absolutely extravagant thing, it's a lot more refreshing to see actual engagement from the Pokemon itself rather than just a random animation that has nothing to do with the attack itself. Also, as far as new evolution forms for the starters in this region, I can see it. It just makes sense for that to happen. I can't imagine why they wouldn't do that. I mean, I love Decidueye as much as the next guy, and I would love to use him in this world, but frankly, I think it would be a lot more refreshing to just get a new form of Decidueye. Hell, and if I decide to start the game over, I would love to use Samurott in a different form, because quite honestly, I never cared for Samurott's design. Oshawott simply another one of those starters with an evolution line that just goes, what the hell happened here? So if Samurott could get some kind of new form and new design specifically from this game, I would be a very happy camper. Now, as far as your negatives go, this is a very accurate and valid fear that I too have. I think I talked about this in my other video as well, but frankly, the fact that there's really no other trainers so far that you have to battle is kind of concerning and something that honestly deserves a video all on its own. Maybe they just meant that the title of trainer in of itself is just not something that other people take on, you know? For example, the main character that we play as, I don't even think anybody considers them a quote-unquote trainer, but they do everything that a trainer does. They catch Pokemon, they battle with Pokemon, they traverse the world alongside their Pokemon. So honestly, I do think that around there are some other quote-unquote trainers because there's just no way that nobody else is capable of what we're doing, which is very simple. And like we were talking about earlier, there has to be some kind of rite of passage for us to get stronger as whatever we are, or not trainers, or whatever we are. There has to be some kind of progression system for us to get better and stronger. I don't know about y'all, but me personally, I don't really see those big, angry, strong, red-eyed Pokemon as really good test conductors. I fully believe that there are going to be other trainers around because there's just no way there isn't. That's literally all I've got. It's just a strong gut feeling, but I'm going to run with it until we get the game. We'll see how things play out. Now, as far as riding Pokemon, this is also something that I kind of expressed in my last video talking about it. I really do hope that other Pokemon are capable of doing what the newer Pokemon are. Maybe I don't want to glide on a Braviary. Maybe I just want to use a Staraptor. Maybe I don't want to surf on a frickin' Basculegion because those things seem kind of mean anyway. I'd rather just go ahead and ride on a Gyarados. I want to ride on the back of a Luxray through the green, luscious lands of the Hisui region. Please, bro. I think it would be kind of unfair to expect us to go out of our way to have these other Pokemon with us to be able to accomplish these very simple feats that other Pokemon have been doing forever. Yeah, sure, the new forms are cool, awesome, dope. That doesn't mean that I want them on my team or that I want them to be doing all the work of me going around the region. I want to be able to use my team for region exploration. Is that really too much to ask? Maybe it is, I don't know, but I think you guys can get it right. There's just no way that there's not any other Pokemon that are capable of doing what these Pokemon are doing in this game. Please, Game Freak, just let me ride on a Luxray and you've got yourself a very happy customer. That's all I need. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's move on before I give myself an ulcer. Let's move on to the homie Skills Hunter who says, positive. I mean, after seeing the second trailer, I fell in love with the direction of the games. The idea of open world Pokemon has been a dream for me and so many other fans since we played the games as kids, and this game, or if this is something you're not completely sold on, it's a huge step in a direction that reminds me of a mix between the main series and something like Poke Park for the Wii. Negative. Honestly, this is more of a nitpick rather than a negative, but I wish it just looked cleaner, or rather, better textures. And I don't think the issue is the Switch and the power of it, considering Breath of the Wild was also on the Switch and I loved how that game looked. First off, you're absolutely right. Poke Park Wii is something that is not talked about often enough when it comes to open world games. That is a very pretty looking game, especially for its era. And as soon as we got it, we all thought the same thing. Wow, this would look awesome for the mainline series. Why can't we just do it like this? And here we finally are, a decade or so later. But diving right into your negatives here, I'll be completely honest with you, Chief, you're absolutely right. The game could look better texture-wise. Again, comparing it to Pokemon Sword and Shield, I'll say it like this, at the very least, it's a lot more consistent. However though, there is something that feels a little unpolished about this art style. I do enjoy it and it doesn't hurt to look at, don't get me wrong, but they could definitely go out of their way to clean it up a little more, you know? Looking at it from their perspective, I'm sure that in their own way they were trying to go for a timeless art style that would last for decades on end, so that when everybody and their mothers would go back to this game when they're about 10 or 20 years older from now, they could still look at the game and not go, ugh, God, you know? And when it comes to comparing it to Breath of the Wild, you have to understand, Breath of the Wild had a hell of a lot more time to cook. This game was in development for maybe no more than 2 to 3 years in comparison to Breath of the Wild's like 5 or 6. Some could definitely say that it could come down to the power of the Switch. However, like you said, when you look at Breath of the Wild, that's not really always the case. Breath of the Wild managed to look perfectly fine, and that's an action-adventure game. And then you look at some of the bigger ports that we've gotten, like Dragon Quest XI, and then you realize, okay, maybe it's not so much about the power of the Switch in of itself. It's literally just about the time the game had. And this is a title that's coming from Game Freak, a game development company that almost never seems to have full hands on deck for every single entry of the game. So honestly, this is just about what I expect. It's not the worst, but it is far from the best. Next up, Sharpshooter Zigbar, who says, positive. Hoo boy, am I just ready to 100% this game. The amount of dex filling and research is fascinating. I love the little side quests done to make this game longer. This is what I needed in Breath of the Wild, but Breath of the Wild has a stupid way of measuring and keeping track of collectibles and side quests, and Legend seems superior in terms of the side quests to me. Negative. If there's one negative I can think of right now, it's the fact that there's only one town. I understand that this takes place just after Sinnoh was formed by humans, but it feels really barren because of that. But who knows, maybe there are different small settlements otherwise. This negative can change. Now, as far as your positive goes, it's kind of early to say that the side quests are superior because we don't even know if there really are any. Like we said earlier, just a few minutes ago, so far, the only side quest that we know of is just collecting extra Pokemon for maybe specific people, and then other than that, we're just filling up the Pokédex. I don't know, me personally, I always thought that Breath of the Wild side quest mechanics were just fine. You could disagree with me on that, but I thought they were fine. But hey, like we've been saying, there's a good chance that Pokemon Legends has a lot more to offer than it's letting on, and those side quests could be absolute bangers through and through. We'll just have to see what happens. Now, as far as your negative goes, I do actually agree that it is very weird that they only showed off the one town. I'm sure there's more. There just simply has to be more. There's no way they're sitting there thinking that giving us only one town to come back to every now and again is perfectly fine. There's just no way. I can't believe that. I wouldn't expect to see anything of like Orberg Town maybe, because that's the most recent town of Sinnoh. But like you said here, I too would love to see more of Celestic Town, or at least the origins of it, considering that Celestic Town is one of the only places in the region that even mildly touched upon the history of Sinnoh. We're just saying, guys, if there's any time to give us a history lesson in the Sinnoh region, it's now. Don't waste said opportunity, please guys, please. We're gonna move along now to MH Griffin, who says, positive, all the potential for expanding the lore of the Pokemon world. Negative, a lot of the execution of the game's mechanics seem pretty bare bones? I don't know if that's exactly the right word. Diving straight into your negatives, we have to look at it this way. This is Pokemon's first real attempt at an overworld game like this. This isn't me excusing them or anything like that for not making them look a little bit better. However, I do acknowledge the fact that this is the first time we've seen it happen like this. Things like throwing a Pokeball seems very, very simple, like it doesn't look flashy in the animations whatsoever. Nothing about the riding Pokemon and gliding with Pokemon don't really seem all that extravagant either. If you really look back and pay attention to what everyone is saying during their initial reactions, it's simply the fact that we can now do those things. Not that they look the greatest, but that we can finally do these very simple things that we've been wanting for so long now. The only time I kind of disagree with that is when we are battling and we can switch between the strong style and the agile style, and it makes it a lot more unique. Other than that though, everything else seems very plain. When the game first came around, a lot of people were telling me, wow, this looks a lot like one of those games that fans would make in the Unreal Engine. And I really couldn't dog them for it because after seeing that initial frame rate and the way that you would dodge roll and throw a Pokemon and the way it was not flashy at all when capturing a Pokemon, yeah, it was very hard to deny that at all. So trust me when I say I completely understand what you mean when you say bare bones. It's not really something that a lot of us can put into words, but we get it. Trust me. Moving along, we have Christian Thompson who says, positive, riding Pokemon. We've seen this before, but this seems to be one of the best incorporations of it. It's not restricted to a specific route like X and Y, but similar to Pokeride in Sun and Moon and Let's Go, but it has a lot of usage it seems. Being able to fly all around the region's skies? That's amazing. Negative. Okay, this is a nitpick, but I wish this game was set in actual ancient times. It seems to be around 200 years prior to the present day, give or take. I'm sure there will be some stuff that could only be done in this era of Pokemon, but I wish they just brought us 1,000 years or so back, even further. I don't want to see street lamps and office rooms, I want everything to feel old. So, you're positive first, my boy. Yeah, riding Pokemon is absolutely fire and something that we've been needing for some time, and we kind of got it in Pokemon Let's Go in a way that we wanted, but not quite exactly, you know what I mean? It was very well done in Let's Go, and one of the very few things that was good about Let's Go, but again, not perfect. And I'm not saying that it's done perfectly here either, but it's a lot more in tune with what we wanted. A big, wide open space to freely ride your Pokemon how you want to, where you want to, instead of the weird restricted routes that we had in Pokemon Let's Go, you know? Now, as far as your negative goes, when I first saw the trailer, I was thrown back a little bit too. I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's not as far back as I thought it was gonna be, because they had offices with lights and electricity was working and everything like that. So it wasn't so far back that they didn't have control of their own electricity at the time. But then again, if we were to go far back like that, I don't know how that would work. They said that we would still have professors and everything like that, so that means that they would have to have offices. They need some kind of space to work in, you feel me? However, I do get where you're coming from. I would like to see something along the lines of Okami myself, but I guess that's just not the era that we're traversing in. I couldn't tell you. I don't know, Pokemon has always been a lot more advanced than our general world has been, so maybe that applies to back then too. They were moving hella fast with the help of Pokemon. So hey, maybe it is actually 1,000 years back or so, but it feels so much more recent because they got access to so much better equipment much faster than we would have back then. Whatever the case may be, I think this is a fine era to explore. And finally, for the sake of not getting too repetitive, we're going to end things off with Angel Semprit, who says, positive, it's what we've always wanted. Looks amazing and set in the past. Very creative. Negative, I fear the game will be dead in 2 months' time like Pokemon Snap if all you do is finish the Pokédex. Then, what I'm also not fond of is the new evolutions. If you're only going to take them away after this game, what's the point of giving us something we love if you're just going to take it away? Diving straight into your negatives here, I completely feel you on the idea that this game may not last as long as we hope. I'm really just hoping that the base game offers us a ton of general content to last us a little while, because I already know for a fact that they're going to be implementing some kind of story DLC. There is just no way they're not going to have that. But then again, when you look at the grand scheme of things, what's even new with Pokemon? Yeah, catch Pokemon, battle your way to the Elite Four, become the champion, and then complete the Pokédex. That's always been the case. The only difference here is that it takes place in the past and it's an open world game, so we don't know what to expect story-wise. I'm really not sure whether or not they themselves count this as a spin-off game considering that it's a part of the mainline story, but whatever the case may be, they do know that this is not a regular mainline game. They know it's much more than that, so I can't imagine that they don't have a lot more to offer for when this game comes out. The mainline games are always going to have shiny hunting or online battling and things like that, but with this game, it's kind of a mixed bag. We really don't know what this game is going to have in store for us, so unfortunately all we can do is wait and see. Even if it didn't make the most sense, honestly, I wouldn't be too mad if they decided to implement some kind of online mode to keep us hooked on the game until we get 9th gen, because there's no way we're not getting 9th gen after this. But if they didn't implement some kind of online mode, then I really hope that they focused heavy on the story aspect. This is all that's supposed to be, then you better focus heavy on it, okay? That's all I'm saying. So that just about wraps up all of the positives and negatives that you guys had when it comes to Pokemon Legends Arceus. The general consensus so far is that the game is looking really fun. It's not the most prettiest looking game on the Switch or anything like that, but it is a fresh start for the Pokemon series in a new direction, and I'm sure that a lot of us are very much looking forward to that. The general negatives that we have is simply the fact that we just do not know enough about this era, this region, how much we're going to be able to do, how much we're going to be able to do it. We don't know enough yet. That's literally all it is. But hey, that's not stopping me from picking it up day one. And that, that's not because I'm just a PokeTuber or anything. I am just obsessed with Pokemon, but whatever the case may be, it's just the waiting game, and we will be plenty occupied until that game comes out with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I promise you. Alright, check this out. I'm gonna need you to do me a favor, take the mic from me real quick, and tell me what your guys' opinions are on the general consensus when it comes to the positive and negatives of Pokemon Legends Arceus. Do you think that they're accurate? Do you think that they're inaccurate? Are there some positives and negatives that never get voiced that you still have in mind? Let me know in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I'm always down there with you guys. Please never doubt that. I see your comments. Do not doubt that. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and skedaddle on out of here because it do be skedaddle o'clock. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content like this. And with that, I'm out, y'all. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.